For my lesson plan, I did social studies for third graders. Day 1 will cover the 3 branches of government. Day 2, separation of powers. And day 3 will go over taxes. Day 1 is a pretty big day. I estimate it to take about 2 days to cover. Branches of government will start off with reading the chapters in our book. The objective is to get for students to distinguish between the branch of government and its power, to be able to correctly label the branch of government if seen on a paper and list the powers that it has. We'll start with reading our textbook. We'll have approximately 6 to 7 students read a paragraph in the books, and we'll talk about the branch and the powers that it has. If we come across words that I can link to science or math, I'll make sure that I'll make that link as we're reading. After we read about the branches of government in our textbook, I'll go online to a website called BrainPop. BrainPop has an interactive game on the branches of government in which we can play, and it gives them a quiz over the branch of government and the powers that it has. From going over the quiz online, then I'll hand out a quiz for the kids to take, but it's a worksheet they'll work on together in groups of approximately 3. So in groups of 3, we'll go over it, test the knowledge. On the back, in the back of the classroom, we'll have the branches of government listed on our boards, so they can always look up there as a reference point. So in groups of 3, they'll work over this. They'll work on the worksheet for branches of government, where they'll list the branch and the power that it has. They are going to list approximately 2 powers that each branch of government has. From there, we'll go to an online game called shepherdsoftware.com, and that's a game that we're going to play as a whole class on the branches of government, where they have the branches listed at the top and then they have the powers at the bottom, and each student can take a chance to go up to the smart board and you drag and drop the power under the branch of government. And if it's incorrect, it doesn't drag and drop, and then what you can have is another student go up to the board and they can try. From there, we are going to work on our flashcards. We'll have the front of the card that will have the branch of government, and on the back of the card, it'll list power. And this is something that the kids will use index cards for this, and this is something the kids can take home. We'll put them in baggies, and they can use this for a review or reference for later on. And as they come in, they can always pull it out and review in their downtime. There's one more website in which we can make a puzzle with our branches of government, and it will have the branch of government and then the powers. Students will put the power under the correct branch of government, and this too will go in a baggie in which students can work on at home, or they can, in their downtime in class, they can review the branch of government. So we will have a puzzle that they can work on, and we have flashcards, and we have games that we're going to play on the website to make sure that they understand the branch of government and can correctly label and distinguish the branch and its power. On day 2, which is our separation of power, we'll go over the levels of government. State, we'll start with country, state, and city. So for the country, they'll be able to identify the president. The state, they'll identify the governor of Georgia. And for city, they'll identify the local city levels, who's in charge on those levels. So we will go over the function of each level. Students will be able to correctly identify each level and who is working at that level. We'll make flashcards for this in addition. So on the front of the card, it'll say the level of government, and on the back of the card, it will say who works at that level and the function that that person performs. And this too will go in a baggie, and they can take this home and study it for tests that are later to come in the year, and pull it out and study it when they're downtime for review. There's also a website called Book Builder, in which we, as a whole class assignment, we will work on putting together a book on the levels of government. So it will be my level of government for Mrs. James' third grade class, and it'll start with, I am part of a country, state, and city, and at the country level, president, city level, governor. So we'll go over that, and we'll put that together and put that on Book Builder, and that'll be a whole class assignment to make sure the kids understand and can correctly identify the country, state, and city levels of government. On the last day, we'll go over taxes. Taxes will be a pretty light day. We'll talk about which level of government collects taxes, and the taxes that are collected, what they are used for. So the students will be able to understand which branch of government collects taxes and the services that are provided by the taxes that are collected. So we will be able to identify police, firefighters, teachers as services that our taxes collected provide. We'll be able to identify that police is a service that taxes provide, but the malls are not. Their favorite place to eat is not something that our tax money provides as a service. So for day 1, 2, and 3, students will learn about the branch of government, they'll learn about separation of powers, and they'll learn about our tax money and the services that they provide.